This is the Doctor, President-elect of the High Council of Time Lords.
I am definitely a madman with a box.
Anyone for jelly, baby?
I'm the Doctor. I'm 904 years old. I'm from the planet Gallifrey in the constellation of Castabras.
Hey Who fans, and welcome to the Big Blue Box podcast. My name's Gary.
My name's Adam.
And we're at episode 92.
Well remembered. We didn't check before we press record.
92.
92.
Hope you guys have had a cracking week and that you've managed to do something Doctor Who related over the last week. Welcome aboard, new listeners. Had some tweets, some Facebook messages from people saying, just found this cool Doctor Who podcast. Love it. Good show. Thank you very much. Always appreciated.
Oh, that's nice, yeah.
So welcome aboard,
guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Welcome aboard the TARDIS. Old-time listeners, grizzled ancients, welcome back.
Grizzled Ancients.
Grizzled Ancients.
I like that.
Yes. We are the Big Blue Box podcast team, giving you news, reviews, commentaries and all sorts of waffle and other rubbish on Doctor Who on a weekly basis. So thank you for joining us. How have you been, buddy?
I've been good, thanks. Yes. Bit quiet after the excitement of the last few weeks. No celebrity meetings or anything like that for me this week. But yeah, not much going on. I am sat here waiting for the 500th issue of the Doctor Who magazine to be crushed through my letterbox. So I'm just keep checking the door as we're recording to see if I can see anything pop through. But yeah, apart from that, not much going on. How about you?
What I've been up to, not much over the last week, really. In terms of Doctor Who, I stuck on an old Pertwee episode.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just because it's 20. It was 20 years, wasn't it? Last, was it Saturday or Sunday since he passed away? And I saw a load of tweets on Facebook and stuff, and I thought, yes, let's put some Pertwee on. So that was Planet of the Spiders.
Oh yeah, I saw your picture. Yeah.
I really like that episode. I know some people bash it a bit, but I don't know. I just think he's very, very cool in it.
I always think of the voices of the big spider, the main one. Yeah. I haven't watched that one for a while, actually. We haven't reviewed it. I think you might have done it before I joined, didn't you? Wasn't that one of your very first reviews?
Oh, I'm
way
not sure.
Back when? Or am I? Yeah, I seem to remember you did it.
Yeah, the Spiders. Are you sure? Yeah, you sure?
I think you did. Yeah, before I jumped on board the TARDIS with you. When you were sat talking to yourself.
Yeah, I did. Yes, I did.
Yeah.
That was way back, episode 5.
Yeah, I remember listening to it. Yeah.
Hello, welcome to the Big Blue Box podcast. My name is Gary, and I'll be talking to you about things. Yes, so that's way back when. So yeah, we should do that at some point.
Yeah, we'll do it. Yes, yeah. Be a good one to do.
It's a good one. Not much else, really. I finally got my package through. You know, this is going back 2 or 3 weeks now. When we were doing the what have you been up to and what have you ordered and stuff. I'd found the Tom Baker limited edition Pop Funko, the jelly. You know, he's got his hand out with the jelly beans instead of the Sonic with slightly different costume. Because I've been shopping around for a while and I couldn't find it under 15 quid. And the reason why, because I don't mind paying 15 quid for a Pop Funko if it's pretty good, but the reason why I wanted to hunt around a bit, because I remember seeing it, I think it was in Forbidden Planet on a special somewhere, and I saw it for, I think it was 12 quid. So I thought, if I've seen it for that, I'm going to try and find it for that, and I'm not going to pay
a penny more.
Yeah. So I found it on Zavvi. I found it on Zavvi for like, I think it was $12.99 in the end.
Yeah, but they don't charge postage, do they? Which is good.
Which is cool, yeah. So I ordered that. It's a few weeks ago now. Ordered it with a DVD box as well. You probably saw the photo on Instagram.
I did,
whatever.
yeah.
And it was just one of those things where it just vanished. So you know their delivery schedules for these places. They normally just say 3 to 5 working days or whatever it is. But I did nothing just for 3 weeks.
That happened with the Blu-ray for Spirit of Space, didn't it? It just kind of like vanished.
Yes.
And it makes you panic then because you're thinking, oh, what's happened? Are they not getting stock? What? So I do know what you mean.
Yes. Finally arrived, though, and it looks awesome.
And I was
love
really
it.
pleased to see the DVD you picked up as well because I think ages ago I remember talking to you about that, saying we should do Sharda at some point and
Yes.
and that. So I was really pleased you picked that up because I love the second DVD that comes with it, More Than 30 Years in a TARDIS. I just love sticking it on. And I don't know, have you had a chance to watch it yet?
No, not yet. No.
Well, you're in for a treat because it's a real good celebration of like the classic era. And I was just so chuffed when I saw you got it because I just thought, you're gonna, there's gonna be stuff on there you haven't seen, and it's going to intrigue you to then go and find out what's that from. Because I think I've seen. Yeah, I've got every DVD, so over time I've seen everything that's come out. But there are bits on that DVD that even I was sort of watching, thinking, "What's that clip from? That looks brilliant."
Yeah,
and of course then you go and find it. Oh yes, right, yeah, it's that. But they've got tiny little outtake bits at the end, and loads of just little bits that perhaps have sort of been lost over time that they've dug up and put on there. So it's a really great little DVD that I'm just looking forward to you seeing it so I can waffle to you about it, really. And I was hoping I'd get a chance to watch it as well, because as soon as I saw you'd bought it, I was like, I've got to watch that. I haven't watched that for a while. I love that DVD. I've got to go and put that on now. And I just haven't had a chance this week, but I'm going to rewatch that again this week for sure, because I need that nostalgic fix that DVD will give me. So I can't wait for you to watch it. I just want to chat about it.
It's my weekend viewing.
Yeah, and Sharda's interesting as well. Obviously, there's some good extras on Sharda from what I remember. So yeah, and
Cool.
we'll have to review that at some point. It's not on the schedule, but we will have to do that one at some point, I think.
Of course, yeah. So
Because it'll be a strange one to do, because obviously it's like Tom narrating it, the bits that are missing, and it's a bit of an odd release, but it'll be a good one to do. Yeah,
of course. So glad I got that through. And
Yeah.
Zavvi's very strange as well with their customer service. There's no actual person, from the outside world looking in, there's no actual people there because there's no phone number. So you just have to email them and you get this automated response, which is like 1 million lines long, and you have to read through that and try and find out whereabouts you need to contact people and so on. And I managed to get a reply from somebody, and basically it just said, just be patient.
Oh, really?
There wasn't. It wasn't a case of let me check for you and I'll see what's happened or anything like that. It was a case of yes, it's probably on its way, but just be patient. If you've not had it in a month's time, whatever, let us know and then we'll help you. But because I didn't send like a scathing email or anything like that. It was just the delivery time said, I think it was 3 to 5 working days or something. Not had it yet. Just could you have a check, see what's going on? And it was basically, you've been impatient. So little life lesson. Wait a bit longer before you contact us. I was like, okay.
Yeah, it doesn't exactly fill you with confidence, but yeah. Well, anyway, it's good to know it's arrived and all is well.
Indeed.
And it is a good one.
Yeah, and I'm trying to order. Well, I'm trying to order. I'm waiting to order the other Blu-ray box sets for the current series. So I've got Series 1 Eccleston on Blu-ray, the box set.
Oh yeah.
And I'm waiting for Series 2 to 4 to drop down, and it's very weird because the pricing for them in some places is unbelievable. So in HMV they're still 35 quid each.
It's a lot, isn't it?
And
one series.
I picked the first one up for 20 quid. I think I got it from Amazon, and I've got this this little app on my Mac that tracks like Amazon things, so it alerts you when things drop in price. And I've had these alerts pop up over the last few days. So it went down from 35 quid to 25 quid to 22 quid to 19.99. So when it dropped to 19.99, I thought, well, I'll jump on there. But there must have been a glitch somewhere because it wasn't that. It was 25 quid still.
Oh.
And then I checked it today and it's 40 quid.
Oh, I wouldn't. No.
Honestly, I can't believe it. It's because they've been out for a while now. So you wouldn't expect them to be launch prices still. You'd expect them to have fallen a little bit.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, you would.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been out long enough now. Yeah.
But they're consistently quite high, especially if you go to HMV or some other places. So I think Amazon's still the cheapest, but they're quite. If I didn't own them at all, then I would maybe pay 25 quid for them. But seeing as I've got them on DVD already, and I've got some of them digitally as well, this is more just of a completist thing, really. And the main thing for me for these re-releases of these series on Blu-ray is really the sound mix, because the audio on the Blu-rays is quite a big jump up, whereas the picture quality is not a huge jump up, because it's an upscale effectively, isn't it? It was filmed in standard def, so
That's right.
it's not going to be that big a night and day difference. But the audio on them, the surround mix is really good compared to the DVD. I mean, DVDs are okay, but for some reason they've really sort of gone all out on the audio.
Yeah.
So I really want them for that, because if you're going to have a little mini marathon, you're going to shove it through the surround amp, and you want it to be cool. So I'm waiting for those to drop down a wee bit more. So if anybody sees them knocking around, because I know a lot of our listeners are into the whole, are into merch, and they send us tweets and stuff to say, "Oh, have you seen this at this price?" So if you guys know of anywhere that's selling these box sets, so I'm after series 2 to 4. If you see them for 20 quid or under, please let me know, and I'll jump on and get them.
You know what's annoying though? When Amazon drop it to $99.9, you'll then have to pay postage, because they don't do free postage on anything under 20 quid anymore. Because I fell for that before. I've been like, oh great, they've reduced something, and I go to add it to basket, and it adds on like 3 or 4 quid postage. I'm like, it's a real killer, that.
Yeah.
And, they've actually, I'll be honest with you, they've actually lost quite a bit of sort of trade from me personally, because I used to buy a lot from Amazon, I have to be honest. I used to buy loads of stuff when they were free postage. But this thing of getting over 20 quid really irks me, because very often I'll just be a couple of pound under, and then I have to pay postage, and I just cancel it. I get really cross about it, probably more cross than I should. But yeah, I wish they'd just get rid of that thing, because so many places do free postage. You just, as soon as they add it on, I just go somewhere else. I just find it cheaper somewhere else. And think, I'm not paying that.
Yeah, it's Amazon, it used to be £10, didn't it?
It used to be 10, yeah.
Anything over 10 you
20.
get,
Yeah.
But Amazon have got to make their money.
I know.
Surprisingly, I didn't know this, they don't make a lot of money from their retail side of things. I think they make quite a bit of money through Kindle and Amazon Prime and stuff, but just general online retail, they make very little. So
Oh, I didn't know. Oh, see, I feel bad now.
you should do.
I didn't know that.
You should go on there now and order a load of stuff to make up for it.
Well, their prices jump around like beans. I
do,
I had my eye on an old DVD. There's this thing I watched as a kid. So I don't want to pay a lot for it, because I know it will just be a nostalgic buy. What's it? BFI thing? No, not Thundercat. Oh yeah, that's great. But yeah, it sort of jumped from 9 quid, and I was about to buy it, but couldn't find anything to bump it up to 20. And then it jumped up to like $24.99. And I was like, I'm not paying that. So yeah, they did, but that was literally within a day. I just left it there for a day, and it changed. So
I can imagine you having a Victor Meldrew moment.
I'm
not paying that.
Yeah, I don't believe it. Do you know what? That I'm sorry to go off track, but I've got to tell you, I bought the box set of One Foot in the Grave about a month ago.
Oh, you told me you loved that, didn't
and
you?
it just because I remember liking the old episode, it has become one of my favourite. It's the best £15 I've spent this year. I have just loved it. Is so much better than I remember.
Right.
Like the writing in it is brilliant. I really love that series, and I see a lot of myself in Victor Meldrew. So just get off track. Just going back to Doctor Who, because we are a Doctor Who podcast,
of course,
not an Amazon podcast or a One Foot in the Grave podcast. Have you picked up the new?
Not yet.
Sonic yet?
Not yet.
That's what I was trying to get it to make that sound.
The new one.
I was trying to get it to do the little the new sounds. So
yes.
you haven't got it yet.
I've not been out to like physical shops or anything yet, so I haven't got the new Sonic, haven't got the new Doctor Who magazine yet. I've just not been out.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be everywhere soon, because those. I mean, it's already like nearly 2 weeks since it came out. Because Toys R Us sort of had the monopoly on it.
Yeah.
But within the next week or so, everybody should be getting it. So like FP and all that. So you should be able to get it fairly easily soon. Because I know a lot of people are buying it off eBay for quite high prices of them, and it's like 30-40 quid people have been paying for it. And I sort of feel like saying to them, I mean, I'm the worst for being patient, don't get me wrong. I I have to have it now.
Yeah.
As you know, I got my dad to drive me to get it and stuff. I'm really impatient with stuff, but yeah, for the sake of like saving a bit of dosh, it should be fairly easy to get very soon.
I was going to say, just wait a week or so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Strange.
Yeah. If you've got a Toys R Us near you, you should be able to get it. Yeah.
Cool beans.
It's good. Yeah.
Before we move on to news and merch, a couple of updatey things. First of all, the newsletter's started to go out now.
Oh, the newsletter.
So the weekly newsletter. So thank you to all you guys that have signed up over the last month or so when we first announced it. As is typical with me, it's a case of, at the time, it will sign up to the newsletter because it's going out next week. So 6 to 8 weeks later, it's finally rocking and rolling. So if you haven't signed up yet, head over to the website, bigblueboxpodcast.co.uk/register. I think the address is. And yeah, so you will get a shiny... so it's not register, subscribe. Thought better check that. bigblueboxpodcast.co.uk/subscribe. And you get a shiny new email into your inbox every week telling you what we've done on the show and other little tidbits and waffle, which we're most famous for.
Yes, we are. Yeah.
So it's not register. If you go to that,
visions of people sort of making a note of it and then just getting to that and the pen going down the page. Oh,
yes. Do not go to /register because you'll just get a picture of David Tennant in a library holding his glasses with that puzzled look, and that'll get you nowhere. So subscribe. That's the one. And also, the last couple of days we've been talking about doing some Big Finish stuff.
Yeah,
on the show, and I put this poll out on Twitter and Facebook to say, look, what do you guys feel about this? Because, and I'm glad I did, because we had a few hundred votes over Twitter and Facebook combined. So plenty of you voted, which is excellent. Thank you very much. The majority was a yes. I think overall, I think it's about 85% or 86% of you want us to do Big Finish reviews, which is great. And there was the other remaining was just a no, thank you, which is also valid point, so thank you very much. But because it's such a huge swing towards the yes, we are going to do a Big Finish review. However, we're going to leave it a week because we were going to do the new 10th Doctor adventure next week as a review. But a load of you made a very good point, and that is the whole spoiler thing. So when we come round to do it next week, the week after next, it should have been. Hold on, would it have been out 3 weeks at that point, or 2?
No, it should be. Hang on, 1, 2. No, it'd be 3, won't it? It'd be 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because we were talking before the show. Oh, it would have been out 2 weeks then. But I've just thought about it. No, it's 3 weeks.
3 weeks
after next. Yeah. So we feel that that's kind of enough time that's gone past for the whole spoiler thing. But we will put a big caveat before we start the review. So we'll say, right, now we're going to crack on with our review. It will contain, we're not going to go into a massive amount of detail because we don't do that anyway when we review like the normal episodes, but there will be spoilers there. So we feel that, after, just over 3 weeks, so practically nearly a month has gone by since this has been out by the time you guys will get around to listening to it. So we are going to do it, but not next week as planned. We're going to do another normal classic story because it's modern Who this week. We're going to do classic Who next week. The week after will be Big Finish, the 10th Doctor Adventures. Yeah,
and it's good because the thing is, even if you don't get a chance to listen to 10th Doctor Adventures, but you still want to get our thoughts on it, just download the podcast after you listen to it. That's the good thing. You haven't got to. You don't have to, because we've got a listener called Joe Sweeney who is watching Doctor Who from the beginning.
Yeah.
So he's sort of listening to he doesn't want to listen to our podcast until he watches the episode, which is absolutely understandable because obviously he doesn't want it ruined. So he does that. He'll watch the episode and then download our podcast. So you can always do that. Don't think, oh no, but I won't have listened to it by then. Just if you want to, just do it at your own leisure. Just go back.
Absolutely.
Go back in time.
Yeah.
Jump in the TARDIS. You can download it and listen to it after you've listened to it. Yeah. But I am looking forward to talking about it. I was a bit hesitant when you first mentioned it because I was thinking audio is a very different thing to review. It might not sound it, but there's nothing sort of visual to take from it. You can't talk about it, certain things. But actually, now I've finished the set, I'm actually quite looking forward to talking about it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's going to be good.
Yeah. So I hope that's cool with you guys. Because we've had lots of requests over the last year. Loads of requests about just Big Finish in general. When are you going to start reviewing them? Can you recommend stuff? All that. So there is clearly a want for it, but we do understand, obviously, that we don't want to. We don't want to review this too close to launch. The whole spoiler thing. So there we go. That's that.
That's that then.
Thank you very much. Rightio. I think we should land the TARDIS and get into some news, buddy.
Yes, let's do it.
Commentaries. We spoke about one of these a while back. I'm pretty sure we did a few months ago.
We did. Web of Fear, I think.
Yes, and there's another one, Web of Fear and...
Enemy of the World.
Yes. So, Phantom Publishing, which is part of the very cool Phantom events. The same people that put on those really great little events over in Chiswick and some other places. So they've got another part of the business called Phantom Publishing, and they're bringing out another 2 independent commentaries for Doctor Who, the classic stuff. And the first one, so essentially what it is, they contact because the ones they did for Web of Fear and Enemy of the World is exactly the same deal as this, where they contacted people who were involved in the show back then, get them in a room, in a studio, stick the episode on, and then they'll just talk through it and give you their insights and behind the scenes and all that very, very good stuff.
Yeah, it's to sort of fill in the gap, because those releases didn't have any extras at all, did they?
That's right.
So what they're basically doing is fill in that gap where the DVDs that didn't have commentaries, they're basically provided one for, which is a great idea, actually.
It's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're doing exactly the same thing now. So they're going to do it with the Demons, which is very, very... We reviewed that and we love the Demons.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, and I'm really pleased they're doing this, because it was quite disappointing, the sort of extras on that DVD, because it took quite a while to come out. It was one of the sort of later releases, and it's such a classic story. So yeah, I'm really pleased they're doing a commentary for this one.
Yeah,
I'm definitely going to grab that. Yeah,
that'll be good. And the second one is Day of Armageddon, which is an interesting one, because that's the one where it's not complete, is it?
It's not complete. No.
Yeah. So these are I like the way they've referenced this. They've called them orphaned episodes, which is quite good. So, and these are both moderated by Toby Haydock.
Yeah,
which is if you've ever listened to the Big Finish podcast, or if you've ever been to an event where Toby's hosting, he's such a funny guy. He's super knowledgeable about Doctor Who, isn't he? He knows his Doctor Who inside out, but he's really funny with it. So really good that he's on board to kind of keep the flow going and inject a bit of comedy there. And these are going to be released in... when are they going to be released? We always do this. We get to it because it's going to be released in sometime.
Very soon.
Very soon, yeah. It doesn't actually say. So it's not our fault this time. It doesn't actually say when they're coming. But it will be soon, because the artwork's done for the album covers and all that jazz. So yes, you can pre-order them now, and I will find out right now for you actually when they're coming.
Okay, and while you do that, I'll tell the listeners who's on it. So
go on then.
Day of the Armageddon, we've got Peter Purvis and Brian Hodgson, who does all the sound designs and things, and they're doing the episodes Dalek's Master Plan, Galaxy 4 Airlock, and the Celestial Toymaker, the final test. So Celestial Toymaker is a great one. I'll be interested on the commentary on that. And then the Demons, this is really good. We've got Katie Manning and John Levine back together, along with script editor Terence Dix. So that's going to be really good. Yeah. And there's lots of other people on there as well, but they're just sort of like the main people. So they're going to be really good commentaries, I think. I love the thought of Katie and John back together for the Demons. That'd be brilliant.
Awesome, yeah. They're coming out in June, actually. So very soon.
Right.
Yeah. So there'll be a tenner each if you want to buy the CD, or Actually, no, $10.99 for the CD and $9.99 if you want the download. And they're also going to do a special edition bundle, which I think is both of them together, which will be 40 quid. I'm not sure what's in the special edition just yet, but yeah.
Maybe that's the other two as well, possibly. I don't know.
Yeah, and you can order them and you can order the other ones as well. So the Web of Fear and the Enemy of the World from whotalk.co.uk.
Yeah, I've got both the other two. I've got the Web of Fear and the Enemy of the World, and I have to say they're really good. They're really, like I said, you stick on the DVD, just put this, I put them on my iPhone so I could listen to them along at the same time. Yeah, it's interesting.
Good stuff.
So, right, okay, in other news, those of you who are lucky to be off this bank holiday weekend, if you can get down to the Doctor Who experience, they've got some great little things going on over the bank holiday. I wish I lived closer to Cardiff, don't you, Gary? Because I'd love to just be able to nip down to this.
Yeah,
this is going to be brilliant. So they've announced a few themes and events that are going to take place over the bank holiday. This bank holiday, 28th of May through to the 4th of June. First of all, we're going to get the costume worn by Pearl Mackie, or Bill, in a little intro video. So that's quite good, because I know a lot of people have been trying to work out all the little patches that she had on there. So that's going on display. The TARDIS memorial for Clara that Rigsy sprayed up in that alleyway at the end of
nice one. Yep.
Base the Raven, that's actually going on display. They had that there when I was there, but it was sort of part of the TARDIS tour, but now it's going to be properly on display. This next thing is really, really cool. They've got the original Davros prop from Genesis of the Daleks, which I can imagine was probably in a bit of a state, and it's been restored by effects designer Mike Tucker, and he's also unearthed some of the earliest headcasts that he could find for it. So that's quite exciting. I'd like to go down just to see that, I think, really. And also, on over the bank holiday, they're going to be having people on hand to transform visitors into Zygons, so I can imagine that'll be quite interesting. And they're encouraging a lot of people to go as cosplayers and to tweet pictures, in their cosplay there as well. So there's quite a lot going on over this bank holiday weekend at the Doctor Experience. If you can get down to it, it's a brilliant place to go for a Who fan. I mean, I could have spent the entire day in there. I think I literally had to be dragged out. I loved it. So yeah. Get down there if you can.
And I like that it's always changing as well.
Yeah.
It's never that if you, unless you're like Tom Dix, of course, from Epic Who, he seems to go in there on a weekly basis. He's probably camping outside.
Close to it. Yeah.
But and if you leave it maybe a few months in between visits, maybe not even that long, because they do change it quite regularly, there's always something new to see. Because they'll always have the regular stuff, like all the Doctor's costumes and various TARDISes and the Dalek molds and all the original props and that stuff, but things like this where they've got Pearl Mackie's costume, and especially like you say, mate, the Davros prop is going to be pretty special.
The original Genesis Davros. Yeah.
So they're always adding stuff and moving stuff around, so it is worth it. And if you haven't been, like we've said many times before, when they're doing things like this over the bank holiday, it's one of the best times to go, because you do get a lot of cosplayers there and the atmosphere is really good. And there's loads to see now. Loads and loads. Like you say, you spend the whole day there reading every card and
I'll tell you,
everything.
It's just one treat after another in there. I mean, you walk out onto like the set from, like the first Doctor's console is there as sort of as you come out of the first bit. And I don't want to go too seriously to actually, because I don't want it to ruin for people, but it is just like, it is just Who heaven in that place. So, and like you said, it's great that they keep changing it up, and I think you'd agree with me that you could spend probably just as much time in the brilliant shop there as you could in the experience, because the shop, oh wow, it is like, just have your wallet with you when you go, because there's so much good stuff in there.
The good thing about the shop is it's quality over quantity in there.
Definitely.
It's not a huge shop like you would expect. It's not like a Forbidden Planet size thing. It's quite a small shop, but they've got really good stuff in there. And stuff that they don't release to retailers either. So Forbidden Planet and those people, they've got some exclusive stuff there you can only buy at the experience. So it's absolutely worth going.
I got my little 6th Doctor cat badge from there, which is not that easy to get over here. So little bits like that. I mean, I was so chuffed with it. It's just in a little Doctor Who box, and it's proper official, BBC release, and yeah, just little bits like that. They got loads of it, and they're not bad on price, because I know one of our listeners' cousins, Callum, he picked up the Confession Dial, the closed version, and I think he got it for about 60 quid or something like that, which is really good compared to the online price, because we were saying a couple of weeks back about how they add on VAT and then postage.
Okay.
I just did it after we were talking just to see how much it added on. It actually works out about 15 quid on top of the price online. So, if you can actually get to experience and get the things physically there, you actually get them for quite a good price as well. So, yeah,
good stuff.
Only we could get down there.
Get over there.
Yeah. Land the TARDIS there, Gary. Let's go.
Let's go now.
Let's go now, yeah.
Last up in the news, this is a really good thing. So, in terms of magazines over the years, there's not many that stick around for too long, is there? Let's be honest. Magazines, I think the longest magazine, other than the one we're talking about, I think it's been around for about 12 years. It's just an old computing magazine.
Yeah.
I think it's probably longer than that, maybe 18 years or so. I think it's Games Master, the old video game magazine. There used to be a program of it as well. Doctor Who magazine. They're not taking any crap. They're like, we've been around the longest. We want it proved. Guinness Book of Records turned up. There you go.
Yeah.
Have a framed certificate. So 36 years.
Wow.
Of continuous publishing for Doctor Who magazine.
That is really good going, actually.
That's pretty good. So, as you guys will be fully aware now, if you subscribe to the magazine, I think it should be dropping through your letterbox today. Is it today, the 26th of May?
It should be today, yes.
Yep.
Very often it arrives early. I was really, really hoping it'd be waiting for me when I got home from work last night, and it wasn't. I was terribly disappointed, because if I subscribe, so quite often it turns up the day before, not always, but yeah, but it's officially released today, which is Thursday when we're recording, which will be yesterday, so, if you're listening on release. Yeah.
So the 500th issue goes out today, which is quite astonishing, really. If you think about physical magazines, because like I said earlier, so many magazines that were around for a long time kind of
fizzle out.
They fizzle out because, for a number of reasons, really. One, people just don't really buy many physical magazines these days because they've transitioned to digital stuff. So newsstand on the iPad and all that stuff. But Doctor Who, they're just relentless. Doctor Who magazine, they just keep coming. And one of the things that I found that really put a big smile on my face, when they were doing the voting, so you could go through and vote on your favourite cover in batches of 50 from the first issue right up to the last one. It's just, there's always something interesting to make you pick up the magazine. And even when we get into, even in the last few months, they've still had features on classic Doctors, all that stuff. It's just, I don't know, it just puts a smile on your face when you're going through all of those covers, and there's no trend. They don't think, right, we've done all the classic years and all the classic Doctors, it's now just about newer Doctor Who and all that. They still, because I think going back a few months now, they had a big feature on Sylvester McCoy. He was on the front. And I just love it. I just love the fact that they're just into everything to do with Doctor Who. And I think the 500th issue is going to be, because it's the bigger bumper issue, isn't it? It's a tenner.
It's a crack. Yeah, it's a cracker. They've got loads of extra stuff. Now's
the week. This week is the one where you don't want your postman to start
don't even
crumpling.
Yeah, I've just got vision. I know I keep checking it. I just got visions but no, this is looking like one hell of an issue. And let's not forget, these guys survived that hiatus as well. These guys, like you said, they've been going 36 years. It is an achievement, because even for a magazine to keep going when the show's off air as well, when the figures were dwindling and all that. These guys have done really well, and obviously it picked up again when the show came back in 2005. A lot of new people who probably never even picked up an issue before are probably now subscribed to this. So yeah, it's a real good achievement. The 500 issue, like you said, looks brilliant. I don't know exactly what you get with it, but it looks like you get a souvenir brochure of some sort. Yep. They've recreated the original first issue's cover, which was originally Tom Baker with a Dalek. We've got Peter Capaldi with a Dalek in the same pose, same backdrop, free transfer stickers. It says, I'm hoping that's a real thing. I assume it is.
I think so. Yep.
Just like the original first issue of the magazine. I just can't wait for it to drop through the letterbox. Even if it's crumpled, I just can't wait to get this issue. Yeah, if it is crumpled, I will be battering the postman over the head with it, naturally. But I just can't wait to get it. Yeah, looks pretty. They had a party last night. I saw on Twitter. I'm thinking there's going to be a lot of sore heads this morning from the people behind the scenes at Doctor Magazine, because they had a big celebration last night. I don't know where it was, but I saw this horse. The Stephen Moffat was there. All the Who gang were there. So yeah,
it's good. They had the Guinness World Records thing up, and
that's it.
Yeah, it was all good, and it really is a good reason to celebrate something else to do with Doctor Who. And one of the things that is pretty amazing, which you just said, is that they just kept going even through the hiatus when there was nothing going on.
Yeah,
a bit like us now, really. A bit like us and other podcasts and other people who are trying to put content out about Doctor Who when there's just really not much going on until we get news through of when the new series starts filming and all that stuff. They were the same. They just kept going. You know, there was nothing new going on, but and
also no sign that it was coming back as well. Think about that. They just kept ploughing on. Back in the sort of 90s or whatever, they just there was no sign that Doctor Who was ever going to come back, but they still kept going. Which is great, and I suppose the fans, played a part in that, keeping it going. So it is good.
So if you don't subscribe to the magazine, or you've not picked up Doctor Who magazine before, this would be a good one to even if you're not planning on buying them regularly, this would be a good one to pick up as a one to keep. I would say it's going to have loads of stuff in it. So, huge, massive congratulations to everybody at Doctor Who magazine. It's quite an achievement. It's pretty good.
It is
indeed. Right, shall we call Daleks? I can see them out there somewhere. They've been going nuts for 10 minutes to come in. Let's get them in and do some merch.
Okay.
Merch corner. Merch corner. Merch corner.
I don't know whether to be impressed or disgusted.
It's a bit rubbish, but it's pretty. It's very pretty.
You like these mystery boxes, don't you?
I do. Yes, I do like is this the geek? This is like the what do they call it? Like the Zavvi box, and what's the other really popular one?
Loot Crate and
Loot Crate. That's
stuff,
what I'm trying to think of. Yeah.
Don't try and play it down.
No, I've never bought a Loot Crate.
It's like you like these mystery boxes. You're like, yeah, they're right.
No. I'll tell you what,
play this down. Everyone, Adam is what he goes. You go nuts for blind bags, mystery boxes. Come on, don't be shy.
No, but my enthusiasm was almost completely destroyed by the Zavvi one.
Oh, right.
So I do love these, but my enthusiasm has been dampened because the Zavvi Doctor Who one was. Well, if anyone wants to know, just watch my video on it when I unboxed it, because it was a real disappointment. So, I kind of I feel like I've been scorned, and I'm not quite sure when I'm going to get over it. So I don't know if I'm going to be buying this. But anyway, let's tell the listeners about it.
So you might be able to get a second bite at the cherry with this one. So a completely different company called My Geek Box.
Yeah.
They're doing a Doctor Who themed collector's box, which is limited to 1,000 units. Very soon. It's coming up middle of June, priced at $34.99. You may think, but I paid that. How much was the Zavvi one? Was that 30 quid?
That was 30 quid, yeah. And all you got was a pack of mints.
Yeah, because you had everything
worth
else.
About 2 quid.
I think, the best thing about the Zavvi box, let's be honest, was the box.
It was. Honestly, it was. It came in a cool blue cardboard box with the TARDIS on the front. You opened it up and had the TARDIS console. Yeah, the box was lovely, but
Indeed.
Not 30 quid's worth. No.
So this one might be slightly. Let me just take ourselves out of the loop of blame for a second. If anyone does buy this and it turns out to be not that great, we don't know what's in it either.
No.
However, all we know is that the company called My Geek Box, which is looking to kind of break into this whole blind box, mystery box market, where you can subscribe or you can buy individual boxes. and so on. This one is the Doctor Who themed one. It's out the middle of June, and all we know is it's got over £100 worth of Doctor Who collectibles, novelty items, gifts, and whatever for 35 quid.
Yeah, heard that before. Yeah, because the Zavi one was supposed to include loads of exclusives you couldn't get anywhere, and it was supposed to be like 100 quid's worth, and it definitely wasn't. Like you said, this is a different company. I have no idea. This could be fantastic for all we know. I'll be honest with you. I would have bought it. I would have fell for it like I always do. The only thing that's stopping me is that you sort of have to go through the faff of subscribing and then unsubscribing to get it, whereas the Zavi one, you could just literally just buy it.
Right.
So if I could literally just go online and buy this one, I'd probably do it.
You can buy this one.
Yeah, but then you've got to unsubscribe and do all that stuff. It's not like you can't just purchase the one thing and you have to sort of subscribe to it. I don't know. It's a little bit more complicated. So I'm not going to bother unless I see that it's got something really, really good in it.
Right.
In which case I probably will go through all that trauma. But no, I'm going to wait and see what's in it, to be honest.
Okay, fair enough. Because you've been burnt before, you don't want to.
It's 35 quid as well. It's not cheap, is it? It's not. It's quite a lot. 35 quid.
Yes.
Are you at all tempted? I mean, you don't really do these things, do you?
No, because it's too much. It's too much of a gamble with stuff like this. I wouldn't subscribe to them anyway, purely because there are some boxes where I'm probably just not that interested. I mean, they've got. To be fair, they've got some pictures on the site where they've got previous boxes and what you've got in them.
And they look pretty decent.
They don't look too bad. I think the trouble with these things is that they can only fit so much into one of these boxes of that size. And that typically consists of the same thing from each company. They all do very similar things where it's a Pop Funko, a T-shirt, a comic or a magazine, and then just some little fiddly keyring crappy bits. So I'm not sure. This one might be good because it is limited to 1,000. That's the only difference with this one compared to the other ones that you would normally get if you subscribe. It's a limited edition thing. So whether that's just a little salesy pitch to get you to buy it, I'm really not sure. But if anyone does buy it, send us a little unboxing vid or your review on it or something.
Yeah.
Be interesting.
When's it actually out? Because I must admit, I am intrigued by it.
14th of June.
Okay, cool. I will be keeping an eye on it just to see. Yeah. Yes. But we'll see. All right, talking of blind boxes, Titans have released images of their next range. It's called the Good Man Collection. These are little 3-inch figures that you get in a blind box. So now these I do like. The ones they've done previously, I've bought a hell of a lot of these. But
these look rubbish.
I'm looking at this new range, the Good Man Collection. Yeah, I've got to agree with you.
Come on,
they look blimmin' awful.
They're
not awful, but a lot of them look terrible.
There's only 3 that I'd want out of this lot.
Okay,
that's the two Doctors.
Yeah,
one in his Stetson and his green coat. The other one in the mauve Stetson and the mauve get up with the waistcoat and the pocket watch and so on. And most of all, Tom Baker as the curator.
But he's one of the worst looking. He looks absolutely nothing like Tom Baker.
I get that. However, out of the entire set, they're better than... Because the set itself has got Amy and Rory, who look very, very bad.
Yeah, Amy looks like she's seen a ghost.
River Song looks identical to all the other River Songs.
It does with that. What's she got on her head?
Yeah.
The hair looks like someone spilt porridge all over it. Yeah.
Clara looks absolutely nothing like Clara whatsoever.
No.
Canton.
Who the hell wants a Canton figure?
Exactly. And then Vastra looks bloody dreadful.
I don't think Vastra looks that bad, actually.
Come on, dude.
I think she's all right.
Okay. Let me just wind this up. They all look absolutely dreadful, apart from maybe the Doctors and... go on in, Vastra.
Yeah, but the curator, you've got to admit, looks nothing at all. He looks... I don't know who it looks like. It doesn't look anything like Tom Baker.
They've tried to make it look like the old Tom Baker, but it doesn't really work. However, I'd want it just to complete...
to have a curator figure.
The Doctor lineup, if you like, because he is still the Doctor, after all.
Yeah.
But other than that, these look pretty awful, mate, so I won't be buying these.
Well, as I
I'd
said,
buy one, but
I love these. As you know, I love these Titan figures. I buy loads of them, and I normally get quite frustrated with the amount of duplicates I get. I have to say, this set, and I do agree with you, looks really rubbish. I'll probably still buy some just because I'll have to, because it's like a fix. I need to just get a couple. But I have to say, yeah, they're really, really not great. The worst thing about this set for me is it feels so old hat.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how long ago was this story?
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? These figures feel like they should have come out 3 years ago, not now. They feel really sort of out of date to me already. But I would love a curator figure, even though it looks a bit weird. I would love a curator figure, so I will be getting a couple just to try and get him. There isn't any other figure that really interests me on that set, to be honest with you. Even the Doctor one in the Stetson, he's about the only decent one, I think.
Yeah, I'd want the Doctors just from a completist point of view, and the curator, but that's it.
If I got one Canton figure, I'd be annoyed. If I got two, I'd snap their heads off. I'd be so. That would be if I ended up spending 18 quid, because they're normally about 8 quid each, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up getting more than one Canton figure, I would just do my nut, I think. Yeah. So anyway, but yeah, Goodman collection. They don't look great. I will be buying some because I'm a bit of a mug. I just want to try and get a couple of them, but yeah, they ain't great.
No. Moving on. If you're into your audio stories, not Big Finish, but stories being read on audio, digital or CD, take your pick. There's a new set coming out in November called Doctor Who Tales from the TARDIS, Volume 1. And this is a collection of stories read by the likes of John Pertwee, Peter Davison, Colin Baker, Nicola Bryant, Nicholas Courtney and Sophie Aldred.
Yeah.
So this is very much a trip back. This is the classic year stories read by folks from the classic years, and it's in a collection now, so Volume 1. And I really like the title, Tales from the TARDIS. Mm-hmm. It's got a timeless, excuse the pun, it's got a timeless sound to it. Really like it. I'm just not sure on the content. It could be pretty good. I don't know. I'm very interested to hear Curse of the Peladon read by John Pertwee. That would be pretty good. Short stories or short trips, should we say? I've already got. I've got those individually. I don't know.
What's Out of the Darkness? I don't know that one.
Out of the Darkness.
Because these are just, let's be clear, this is just a set bringing together some previously released material, isn't it? These have all been out before.
Yeah, it's just collected.
They've just collected in this set, yeah. Is this the actual finished cover? Because it looks a bit naff to me.
It is, yep.
Oh, is it? Okay. It's all right.
It's all right. So if you're into audio books rather than audio plays like Big Finish, this might be good. You're going to love the price as well. Nice and cheap at £30. Yes.
Yeah, a bit too much. I think I've probably got some of the old versions of these somewhere. So yeah, I don't know if I'll be picking it up. But anyway, moving on to an audio release, which I definitely will be picking up. And we got news of this from Big Finish this week. This sounds very exciting to me. They're going to release a collective cast audio of Torchwood, which I think a few people have wanted, because they've done one series of Torchwood so far, which is all individual characters. So it's like one story is Captain Jack, next week is Eve Miles. So this is going to be some of the cast collected for the first time in a box set. Yeah. And it's going to be called Torchwood Outbreak, which already sounds great. The cover to this one looks really good as well.
Awesome, isn't it?
So the write-up for it, it looks really good. It's a city under siege, a virus on the loose, and Torchwood is ready. John Barrowman, Gareth David Lloyd, and Eve Miles assemble in a full cast box set released in November this year. So this does sound really, really good.
Indeed.
It's good to get the guys together on one audio, because I must admit I haven't got the Torchwood CDs that Big Fish had done. Just because I can't afford them at the minute, but I hear they're really good, and I really want to get them. So I think I will definitely be getting this when it comes out in November. Yeah.
And this is the good thing about Big Finish, is that you do get it at a decent price if you pre-order.
Yeah.
So it's 20 quid at the moment. And I'm assuming, rightly or wrongly, that once it's launched, it will go up to probably 40 quid.
It's normally 35, 40 quid, isn't it?
Yep.
So it's four disc set. So 20 quid's a good price for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you want it, jump on it now and pre-order. And Big Finish have been pretty good over the last year or two with sending stuff out. I know you've had a couple of issues, but for me personally, they've normally delivered relatively quickly after launch.
Yeah, they've not been too bad.
I know you've had a couple of issues, but I'm not sure if that's Big Finish or your postman.
Or the postman, yeah.
But yeah, so if you pre-order, you get the download straight away on launch day, and then you should get the CD box set within the next week after that.
Yeah.
That's what I've been getting the last year or so. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. Like exactly the same as you. I haven't been able to, I've not wanted to pony up the dough and get the Torchwood stuff alongside quite a bit of the Doctor Who stuff that I've got over the last few months. But this looks really good. And the cover, like you say, is awesome. It looks really good.
I'll tell you what, talking of lack of cash as well, me and you have both said on a few occasions, when are Big Finish going to do a Jago and Lightfoot sale? When are they going to do it? And they finally did one. And I was just like, it was just like the worst timing ever for me. I couldn't afford anything. I was going to ask you if you picked anything up.
No, they really should do these.
End of the month.
They should do it at the start of the month after payday.
Yeah, start of the month.
They would get I'm pretty sure their sales would double if they did it after payday instead of just before.
Yeah, I was looking at it thinking it's like a week and a half till they get paid, and I just can't, because they only do it for did it for like a weekend, didn't they, last weekend? But yeah, I'm sad to say I didn't get anything, but I want to get into those Jago and Lightfoot audios.
I know, very frustrating when that happens, but fair play. They've had some really good offers recently. They did a Paul McGann weekend a couple of weekends ago.
Yeah.
A lot of his stuff, all the Dark Eyes box sets were 20 quid. He did a load of his audios, I think, for £2.50 or $2.99 or something. So that was really good. And then the Jago and Lightfoot stuff, all of their stuff was all on special. It's just the timing is just really bad.
I know.
But anyway, like you say, mate, this might be a very good one to pick up.
Oh, I think so.
And get pre-ordered. Yeah. I think we've kept people waiting long enough. We've waffled and chatted through lots of stuff. Let's let people get on with their day. So let's get on with our review, which is
Jammy Dodgers at the ready. It's Victory of the Daleks.
Okay, soldier. Defend yourself. But what? Oh, what the devil? You do not require to. Stop it! Prime Minister, please! Come on! What the devil? These machines are precious! Now, come on! Fight back! You want... No, you do. I must protest! What are you waiting for? Look, you hate me. You want to kill me. Well, go on. Kill me. Kill me!
Sir, be careful!
Please desist from striking me. I am your soldier.
You are mine! And I am yours! You are everything I despise. The worst thing in all creation. I've defeated you time and time again. I've defeated you. I sent you back into the void. I saved the whole of reality from you. I am the Doctor.
I am the Doctor.
Yeah, Matt Smith letting rip there.
letting rip, not in the bad, smelly way.
Oh, no.
But in a good Doctor way.
So it's
Victory of the Daleks. It feels like ages ago, 2010.
Is it really?
This came out, yeah, part of Series 5 and the usual 45-minute broadcast duration.
Yeah.
And this was written by Mark Gatiss, or Gatiss.
You say Gatiss, I say Gatiss.
Directed by Andrew Gunn and overseen by the Mothburger, the Mothball, and
the Mothball. I like that.
And so, crikey, it's set around World War One. World War Two? World War One?
I thought it was World War Two. But...
World War Two, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, it would be World War Two, wouldn't it? Of course. During the Blitz.
That's it.
And Churchill is plotting and having strategic meetings underneath London, which the Doctor and Amy are very, very excited about, which I find strange because there's thousands upon thousands of people being killed every day, but they seem very excited and happy about being involved.
In the middle of it.
In the middle of it, yeah. Anyways, the Doctor turns up because Winston Churchill tried to contact him, but he's arrived a bit late. And what the Doctor doesn't know is that one of his sort of chief scientific researchers or warfare doctor, scientific person, has strangely invented these mechanical things to aid them in their war against the Germans. And we very quickly get to see that these mechanical fighting machines are actually Daleks who look like soldiers. They're painted in such a way that they look like frontline soldiers, which we'll come on to. The Doctor obviously flips out, tells them to cease immediately, all that stuff, which they clearly don't. But the Doctor soon unravels their plan. So this is a story of two halves, really. Let's be honest. Story of two halves. The first half is the Doctor and Amy turning up, finding out that Churchill and the war effort has supposedly invented these Daleks. And then the second half is the Doctor trying to defeat the Daleks. But what they've done is they've sort of tricked the Doctor into triggering this event, which introduces us to the Paradigm Daleks, which he then tries to defeat with a biscuit. And then it all sort of culminates in the war sort of carrying on, as it were, the Paradigm Daleks doing the off, and then Amy and the Doctor going off onto the next adventure.
Yeah.
So story of two halves, really. It very much is. So, yes. What do you reckon?
Well, first half, actually, I think it starts pretty good. I like the way this actually starts, because it's kind of intriguing. You're thinking, what? The Daleks have gone good. They don't, I was quite intrigued by the sort of first probably 15 minutes of this, and then it seems to spiral out of control, and I don't really know what to make of the second half of it, to be honest with you. So overall, this is a mixed bag for me. I don't think it deserves the amount of hate that it gets, but I can understand some of that hate. But it's a mixed bag for me. I don't think it's all bad. I think there's some good stuff going on, but it kind of loses its way, and it seems to get wrapped up very, very quickly, as if it feels a bit hollow overall as a story, if you know what I mean. It just seems to have no substance to it, because I'll be honest with you, I'm not quite sure what was going on in the second half of this. Like, what are the Daleks? So they've got this human bomb. I don't know. I found it a little bit of a mess overall. Yeah, but I don't dislike it. I think there's some good stuff. I think it's an easy enough watch, but overall, my feelings on it is it's a bit of a mess. What about you?
Yes, I'm basically in the same camp as you.
Right.
On it, I think it starts off very well. It starts off with, unfortunately, as we've seen many, many times, it's one of those stories that starts off with bags of potential. It could be one like a modern classic, if you like. But then sort of halfway through, it loses itself a little bit. Things get shoehorned in. And then the writer, in this case, Mark Gatiss, sort of has to write himself out of a big hole that he's dug.
Pretty much.
And the only way to do that, because he's only got 45 minutes, the only way to do that is to wrap it up very poorly and quickly. So maybe if this was a classic era, split over maybe 2, possibly 4 parts, where we could get a very good insight into these other Daleks and, that whole thing, then it could have worked. But because they try to do so much in a short space of time, it just loses itself. It gets wrapped up way too quick.
Do you think it does? Yeah, way too. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Do you think it deserves the battering? Because it does get a battering, this one. Do you think it deserves it overall? Because I don't think it's as bad as its reputation.
No, that's what I was going to say. I don't. It's not a terrible episode. It isn't one that
It's not a hard watch, is it? I mean, I
No.
I was quite entertained for 45 minutes, but
Yeah.
I didn't sort of get to the end of it and think it was brilliant. But I also didn't get to the end of it and think, God, that was rubbish. Like, what's the one we did recently where I got to the end of it and I was just like really pleased it was over? Oh, The Idiot's Lantern. I didn't get that sort of feeling at the end of it of like, God, dear me, that was poor. I sort of got to the end of it thinking it was entertaining enough because there are some nice moments in it, some good bits of humour, I think, in it. There's enough little nice moments to make it better than that. So I'm a little bit surprised at the backlash it gets in some respects.
Yeah, Let's be clear. It's not a series showstopper.
No,
it's not one that if you're watching series 5 from beginning to end, it's not one that you would skip. Or that
no, I don't think so.
Not at all. It's just it suffers with. I think it just buckles under the weight of its own plot weight, if you like, because it's one thing. It's one thing to have the Daleks in there as fighting for the English army, and when we first see the Daleks, they're painted in that that army green, and they've got look ridiculous. So it's one thing to have that concept going on, but when you then introduce brand new Daleks into the whole canon, into this episode and the whole world of Doctor Who, you now introduce these brand new ones, and you get the design wrong. Well, not get it wrong, but they're not designed very well at all.
I think they got it wrong.
They got it wrong, and then secondly, they're gone before they're even started. So you've got one of Doctor Who's biggest enemies and one of the most well-known monsters or enemies within Doctor Who in this episode in two different forms. And it ends up being a very quick, forgettable episode because, like you say, it's entertaining to a degree. You're watching the whole thing and you're not really thinking, oh, this is boring or this is, it's just a big, huge sort of anti-climax of a Dalek story. And I think
really hollow because they kind of, like you said, they just kind of, we don't even see what happens to these. These new Daleks are introduced, and then the Doctor kind of just says, "Oh, they've run away." So we just have to accept. Oh, they've gone. Oh well, let's move on. It's kind of like that, isn't it? It's really, really like
just wrapped up. And I think it's one of those situations where it's sort of understated story about Daleks, where it's the worst type of Dalek story you can do, because right from the early days in Classic Who, we find out that the Dalek race and the Daleks themselves are actually quite complex. It's quite a complex story, and there's a lot more to it than just a metal can rolling around exterminating people. There's a lot more to it. But when you have a story like this, where, like I said, you've got the regular Daleks and then a brand new slew of Daleks that have come into the mix, they just don't do anything with it.
That's it. Yeah, you're
just
right.
Not
They're
enough,
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, they don't do anything in this, do they? The Daleks. I mean, I thought what was going to happen when this first aired was, you remember in Eccleston's first series, we got Dalek, so we got that standalone Dalek, but then we got that epic battle where they came back for the 2-part at the end.
That's right.
Yeah, which worked really well, I think. I thought they were sort of going to do the same tricks. I thought, oh right, okay, they're introducing these new Daleks. Clearly, we're going to see them again. This is like a forerunner, like Dalek was. This is like a forerunner to what we're going to get later on.
Yeah,
and that never happened. And I don't know if that's because they didn't go down too well, or whether they were just never, or whether this was just it. But it feels to me like a sort of an introduction that never got sort of finished off, if you like. They never sort of went with it.
Yeah.
It also feels to me, I mean, this is series 5, so this is Moffat's first series as the showrunner. And there's a lot of series 5 where it feels like he's trying to erase some of what Russell T Davies brought in and bring in his own ideas, which is fair enough. But in this, it literally is that, because the new Daleks just disintegrate the old Daleks. So it very much feels like it's Moffat saying, right, this is my ideas now, and he's sort of getting rid of undoing a lot of what RTD did.
Yeah.
Which I can understand to a certain extent, because he's showrunner now. He wants to bring in his own style and his own ideas, fair enough. But I think this is perhaps one of the ideas in terms of the Paradigm Daleks that didn't quite pay off.
Yeah, totally agree, mate. Totally agree. And they're just not sinister enough.
Well, they've got hunchbacks.
That's what I mean. Yeah, the design is
the Daleks
pretty
of Notre
bad.
Dame.
Yeah, but this is my personal opinion. But a good Dalek story has got to be about the Daleks being scary and sinister and deadly and a big threat. And I just didn't feel that at all throughout this entire story. Even when we had that really big moment where the new Paradigm Daleks are coming out of the smoke, and it just because of the design, it just looked like 10-pin bowling. It looked like
yeah.
I don't know. And then they just weren't threatening enough towards the Doctor either, because they had this kind of sort of negotiation standoff, didn't they, between the two of them, where they were saying. Because they basically lit up all of London, didn't they? So that the German bombers knew exactly where to target. And the Doctor was saying, you shut the lights off or I'm going to destroy, this Dalek ship. And they were like, yeah, but that means you'll go along with it and stuff. And he was like, So there was that whole thing, but that fizzled out relatively with no sort of consequence on either side. And that was sort of done and dealt with. And then, like you say, they just go.
They just hop off.
Yeah, so the threat wasn't there. That sinister, like oh no, there's Daleks. It's go time. It just wasn't that at all.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I mean, even the Doctor doesn't seem scared of him, does he? In fact, he's laughing when he's sort of trying to when he's on his escape and stuff. He's eating his Jammy Dodger and playing with that console, whatever he's doing, and he's laughing. So there is no, they're not scary at all. But let's talk about the design quickly for a minute, because I think you are right in the sense that they did get it wrong. I kind of like what they were trying to do, because I like the Cushion movies and I like the Daleks in the Cushion movie. I like the design of them. So I kind of like the fact that the Mothball was thinking, let's bring some colour and mix it up a bit. So I like what he was trying to do. But unfortunately, they just look... the humpback looks terrible. They just look too static. And I mean, they've been called everything from the sort of Teletubby Daleks to... for every name
Power
under the
Rangers.
sun.
Yeah.
Power Rangers, that's it. Yeah, they've been called every name under the sun. And it kind of made them a bit more of a joke, like you said. This is sort of, I suppose, just adds to the fact that the Daleks haven't been scary for quite a long time in Doctor Who, and this sort of didn't help that at all, really. And a lot of it is down to the design, I think.
Absolutely.
They look big and clumsy. I mean, I suppose making them bigger, perhaps, is a good idea. But they're just let down by the new design, and I don't think it's the colours so much, but. I don't know. I suppose they're not. They are a bit. Perhaps if they'd have just gone for a more subtle, rather than being these big, colourful rainbow colours, it might have, helped.
I think if they would have kept the original design somewhat and made them because the original Daleks are, they're thinner, aren't they, a little bit? And so I understand the design approach where they wanted to make them a bit more larger and bulkier and, try and seem a bit more threatening. But they just didn't pull it off because they look, like the hunchback thing at the back and the shape of them, they just don't look that good. The original Daleks had a slightly slimmer, more triangle shape to them. So in my opinion, they could have made them, the same shape, maybe a little bit larger, but have them this really cool, really
more retro,
dark, charcoaly, scuffed up sort of look, and more consistent as well. So these colours, so what were there? There was red, yellow, orange, blue and white, wasn't there? So the white one's not too bad. The white one, because that's got a sort of remembrance sort of vibe to it.
Yeah.
But the other ones, I don't know. Especially the yellow one. The yellow one just looks ridiculous.
Eternal.
because they've got because it's got the black sort of half balls, the little half domes on the around it, so it looks ridiculous in black. Because that's the other problem with this color; they look really plasticky.
They do look plasticky,
don't they?
Yeah.
It looks got like that vinyl, like that really cheap, those old kit cars that people used to buy. That's that real acrylic looking.
Yeah.
Flexible, bendy acrylic.
Especially the sort of neck bit, doesn't it? That looks like something out of like a car workshop. Yeah, you're absolutely right. They look really plasticky. The thing was, when they brought back the Daleks for the new series, they sort of updated them just enough to look. I think they did a really good job updating the Daleks, and in Dalek and in Part Another Ways now. I think they sort of took the classic design and just tweaked it enough to be modern, but still look really good, because I really like the sort of the Daleks in the new series.
Yeah,
but unfortunately, with this they just didn't get it right. I mean, it's like the Cybermen. I haven't liked any of the new designs for the Cybermen in the new series. I'd much prefer the classic series design. I don't think they've ever got it right in the new series, but I think they did with the original Dalek design. So it's a shame to see them sort of try and get rid of that and sort of make it a bit more comical, like serving tea and stuff. It's a bit of a shame.
It is. And that's, so I think, in terms of the design of the newer paradigm Daleks, I think we're in the majority there, where they just don't look very good.
I think a lot of people just thought that they were going to be like make for a great toy. I think they had visions of kids loving it, which they may well have done, actually. Younger kids might have loved it, but I think they were just sort of thinking, imagine, when we bring these out of toys, every kid's going to have one, and it's going to be great, it's going to be really fun. And so maybe they were thinking along those lines, but what they should have been thinking is that it's making it's sort of taking the edge off the Daleks. It's bizarre because Terry Nation Estate, they fought quite hard to get the rights to bring the Daleks back from this series, didn't they? Yeah, and one of the things the Terry Nation Estate didn't like was how the Daleks had turned into this comedy caricature over the years. So, like, they'd been used in adverts where they were just being silly, going, exterminate, and, the Daleks had become a bit of a joke, and I think the Terry Nation Estate didn't like that at all. And they wanted to try and, recapture what Terry Nation, had originally sort of invented. So I don't know how they felt about this, really, when, like I said, when that sort of scary edge was taken down quite a few notches. Yeah, I
read you, man. So Daleks in this story, not really feeling it.
No.
And then, just to touch on the first Daleks that we see, who have been painted British Army green, and for some reason they've got a utility belt.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if that's just because, like, they're going to carry supplies for soldiers who they're going to be fighting alongside in battle. Really not sure, but the utility belt thing, can't really get my head around that. It doesn't look very good. I don't really mind the sort of dark green paint job. I don't really mind that if there was like 1,000 of them.
I actually don't mind it.
No.
I think it looks quite interesting, actually. What do they call Ironside Daleks?
Ironside, yeah.
Yeah, I actually don't mind the look of it, because it's quite the nice little Union Jack symbol replacing the Dalek bit under the eye and that. Yeah, no, I think it works. It works okay in terms of the story. I quite like the look of them, but I'm not sure why they've got a utility belt.
No, it's a bit ridiculous.
Maybe it's full of tea bags.
Yeah, a lot of
tea
famous
one side, coffee the other.
Yeah, well, a lot of famous wars over the years were won by drinking cups of tea.
Good old tea,
Good old tea. But the original, the first Daleks that we see, they're not too bad. I don't mind the green paint job, but just the accessories are just ridiculous and irrelevant, and just the whole non-threatening thing. I mean, I understand why, because when we pick up this part of the story, it's before the Doctors arrived and has set off the trap, if you like. So they're meant to be sort of servient and that sort of thing. But again, that's just another little nugget in the story and the writing that just leans over to them being non-threatening. It just doesn't help this whole Dalek thing about them just being laughed at throughout the episode. So overall, the Daleks, they've absolutely been written better.
It's not their finest hour.
It's not their finest hour, and it could have been, like I said, it's another example of so much potential. You know, it could have been an amazing Dalek story, but they just didn't live up to.
Because there are a couple of nice little bits at the start where, you know, like when Matt's talking to Churchill and you just see the Dalek creeping behind him. There's a really nice shot there of the Dalek just sort of stopping and turning and looking and then carrying on. You know, there's a couple of little sinister moments which are quite nice, but we don't get enough of that, unfortunately. Yeah.
No. So Daleks, not really doing it. What do you think to some of the cast then? Let's talk about. There's only a few people really. I mean, it's interesting because it's a very busy support cast, but there's only a couple sort of speaking support characters really. So Churchill, Ian McNeice.
Yeah, nice bit of casting, I think.
Pretty good, actually.
He's quite good as Churchill. Yeah.
Because obviously somebody like Churchill has got a very distinct look, and but I find that the casting management at Doctor Who generally does a really good job in the support cast.
Yeah.
If we think about people like the guy that played Vincent van Gogh,
yeah,
that was pretty much bang on.
Oh, he was really good. That's the same series, isn't it? Series 5. Yeah.
And some other examples as well where they've really, I think they've really nailed.
Shakespeare guy, what's his name? The Shameless bloke. He was quite good.
He was good. So I think when it comes to casting like quite distinct historical figures, they do a very good job with that. And I think Ian McNeice does. He does have that big, chubby, flabby, because his jowls are huge. They're like all the way down here over his shirt collar, which is just like Churchill. You know, he's this big, big guy. And so they've nailed that really. And Ian McNeice is a great actor as well.
He gives a good performance. He's quite sort of humorous in it, isn't he? Without going too much. He's still quite believable as Churchill, but he does also slightly ham it up a bit. But it's not. Yeah, I think he's really nice in it. Yeah,
that's really the only one thing that I didn't really find worked. The casting was bang on, but the actual his script and his performance I found to be just a wee bit too much on the humorous side at times.
Yeah, possibly.
But that's only a little niggle. But other than that, really good.
I would agree. It's funny because I would agree. I do know where you're coming from on that, because the first time I watched this, the very first time when it went out, I thought that because I remember thinking, oh, he's really well cast. He's good as Churchill, but they've made him into a bit of a comedy character, which I didn't like. But I didn't mind it so much on a rewatch. But I do know what you mean by that, because I did think the same the first time I watched it. Yeah. I thought they'd sort of made him a bit too comical.
Yeah. Otherwise, though, really good. What about Bracewell?
Bracewell, again, nice bit of casting. He's a good actor. I suppose the problem I have with Bracewell is what he turns out to be, this stupid human bomb.
Stupid.
So I quite like, I like the character, and I like him as an actor, but I just think it's a bit of a shame, really, what he sort of turned out to be. It's a bit sort of a joke, really.
Okay.
In terms of the bomb.
It's
just this silly, colourful thing that he's got in his chest, and the whole emotion winning over again. It's sort of been done to death, really. But yeah, he's a good actor, though. Do like him in this. Yeah,
I quite liked his character in this. One of the things that I didn't mind. I liked the concept of having somebody who completely and truly believes they're human. Even when they're presented with the evidence, where his hand gets blown off and he's got the wires and cables, even then when the doctor's trying to convince him and try and get his emotions going and all that stuff, I thought that was quite a nice element to the story.
Yeah,
it was quite good. And Bill Paterson was fairly good. I remember him from a really old movie, The Witches, the old Roald Dahl movie The Witches, where he played Bruno's father, and remember just absolutely cracking up many times when I watched that as a little kid. So when I see him in anything now, I can't help but laugh. He's
one of those actors I do recognise from being in stuff, but I can never think of his name.
He's so he's good. I like his performance as well. Because he's meant to be an emotional character, isn't he? Even though he's like an android robot bomb thing, he is meant to be completely believable as a human with proper emotions and feelings and all that stuff. So I thought he did pretty well on that.
Yeah, and it gives Amy something to do at the end because she hasn't had a lot to do in this. So that's like you said, that little scene at the end is quite good.
Yeah.
Where she sort of, because the Doctor's getting nowhere, is he? it's just failing miserably, as you can see all the lights switching colour, and it's quite nice when she just shoves him out of the way and she's like, I know what needs to happen. Yeah, that's quite a nice little moment.
Yeah, and she does that. She kind of does that a few times in Series 5. Even when the Doctor's told her to sort of stay put, don't get involved. She does get involved and save the day. That's when they went down that whole, is this show still about the Doctor with the man with the plan and saving the day, or is it more about the companion? Is the companion becoming more? Because we had that a lot with Clara.
Yeah, we did.
Series where it almost became the Clara show.
Oh, yeah.
So there's elements of that here with Amy sort of rushing in at the end and saving stuff, and which is it's okay to a degree.
I think it's good to a degree. Yeah, you've got to have it now and again, otherwise it's companion's redundant. But yeah, it does when it comes to being too much, like it definitely did with Clara. Yeah, then it just starts irritating because the Doctor's becoming sidelined. Yeah.
Anyone else you want to mention? There's not really much else going on.
There isn't many. No. I mean, the extras are quite nice, and they're not in it hardly at all, are they? But the characters we get are quite good.
Yeah.
The thing is, if you get an extra that's bad, they'll stick out a mile, so you'll always remember them. But in this, there's nobody in it that you sort of think, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Where'd they get that guy? You know what I mean? Everyone in it, even in the smallest role, is quite good, I think. Like the little air warden out on the roof and stuff, just in a tiny little scene, but just a nice little character. So, yeah, all the extras are quite good in it. Briggsy, Nick Briggs, is obviously doing the Dalek voices, of course, and Barnaby Edwards. I do like the deep voice. It's the white Dalek, isn't it?
Yeah.
I can't get my voice. He goes very deep.
Yeah.
Quite like that. So he's doing a good job, I suppose.
I suppose.
No, sorry, he is. There's nothing wrong with Briggsy doing it. He is the Dalek voice in the new series, isn't he? So yeah, he's doing a good job. Because it must be difficult, in a sense to do... they can only tweak that voice modulator so much. So when they probably say to him, one more take, Nick, a little bit deeper, please, if you could. Do you know what I mean? How many different variations of the Dalek can you do?
True.
So yeah, he's doing all right. And Barnaby Edwards is Dalek 2. I don't know who Dalek 2 is, but...
he must be...
Dalek 2.
Second Dalek.
Yeah, I didn't notice. I didn't notice any distinctly different Dalek voice, but
No.
But they're fine. So overall, for me, nicely cast. Actually, another plus point, which I think perhaps gets overlooked when people are saying they don't like the story. I think this got a nice little unit cast in it that worked pretty well. Yeah.
So the old guy on the roof, he had a good little part.
It's just more the look of him, just looks like that typical old British soldier. I like it.
And then we had the pilots, didn't we?
I forgot about that. Yeah,
that was like the Spitfires that go out into.
This is the bit that everyone. Yeah. There's two things that people always bring up that they dislike about this story, and that's the Paradigm Daleks and the Spitfires in space. Mm-hmm. And this comes back to you saying about how things are just very rushed in terms of the writing, because it's just explained in one very simple line, isn't it, that we're just supposed to accept. He says something about, oh, surely you can create a gravity bubble. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
And the next thing we know, we've got Spitfires flying up in space, shooting the hidden Dalek mothership. So yeah, that's an example of where the script was just very lazy and very rushed.
Yes, that's exactly what I meant earlier, where the story is, the concept and the story is very, very big and grand.
Yeah.
But because they didn't have enough time, or they didn't write, or Mark Gatiss didn't really do the second half well enough to execute that story well enough, he then had to write things very quickly to get the story to a completion, So that's why we have things like, oh, surely you can just do that.
Yeah, gravity bubble, no problem.
Let's just do that. And then we have
5 minutes. Yeah.
So that whole thing about creating stuff so the Spitfires can go in space and all that, it's I just not a fan of that
it knocks a point off.
Yeah.
On the score, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Well, while we're talking about the Spitfires in space, though, let's just quickly talk about the graphics and effects, which I'm going to say I think look really good. Even now, I thought the actual visuals in this are really, really nice. Because I mean, forget the fact we're looking at a Spitfire in space. They've done a good job on the production of this story. It looks really, really good from start to finish. The colours are nice. The direction's really good, actually. Who was the director? Andrew Gunn.
Yep.
He's done his best to really inject some life into the story. Like, you know, when we get introduced to the new Daleks, we've got really great sweeping shots. You know, it cuts really quickly, so we get, you know, good views of these new Daleks, even though we don't like what we see. I think the direction on it's really good, and I think the effects in it are really good as well. They still look great. I think still look really, really good.
Yeah, although it's a really crappy, you know, thing in the story, the effects are really good.
Yeah, like the scene in London all lighting up, you know, with the guy on the roof, just looks really, really nice. Yeah.
Yeah. And the actual sets are good as well, like the war rooms underneath London.
Yeah.
All that stuff, really well recreated. And so production wise, really, really good, to be honest with you. It's just it's just the poor execution of some of the elements that are not great, but in terms of production and stuff, it's well up there. I mean, there was a few episodes in Series 5 that just looked really good, really, really good. And this is
Vincent
one of
the Doctor. I mean, we said it, didn't we? It looked just brilliant. Production wise, but I think this surprisingly stood up very well in terms of the look and feel of it. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Let's talk about. So anything else like story-wise before we get on to the Doctor and Amy?
No, I mean, I just think it's a bit of a mess, the story. I'm not quite sure. Yeah, it loses its way, basically.
It does.
Unfortunately, in terms of story.
Yep. So we can do Amy very quickly. She has very little to do right until the end. She's a bit of a tag-along, really.
She is, yeah. Even the Doctor dumps her off, doesn't he? He's like, you wait there. And she's like, yeah. Even the Doctor dumps her. She does get a lot to do.
Till the end.
That nice little scene at the end. Yeah.
And they I like that they let him go as well, because when they go back into the office at the end, he's aware that they're there to deactivate him because he's Dalek technology.
Yeah.
And then they go through that thing about, what could we do in 20 minutes? You know, so basically they're saying to him, you know, escape, get out of here. But so that's quite a nice bit at the end.
And, well, the Doctor, Matt and Karen do work well together in little scenes like that, don't they? That's when she sort of becomes good, because I do find Karen's acting a bit one-dimensional a lot of the time, but she's always good when she's with Matt. They sort of bring out the best in each other in terms of their chemistry, if you like. So
no, read you. So that was quite good. So, but apart from that little scene and the bit obviously when she's talking to Bracewell, when you know the thing on his chest is going round and he's about to obliterate everything, that's quite a nice scene. But other than that, she's just a bit of a tag along.
Yeah,
doesn't really do a great deal. She's all right. No huge complaints. She's just nothing really to comment on. And then Matt Smith.
Matt,
what do you reckon?
Great.
I
love Matt. I really love Matt Doctor. I can't fault him, even with his terrible hair in this one. What?
It sounds like you sounded like we were down the pub talking to Stephen Moffat and some other people, and
Mothball,
and
bring Matt back. He's blooming great.
They're reminiscing about the good old days on Doctor Who, and you're like, I love Matt.
Yeah,
I've always loved Matt.
I do. I think because in some of his stories, I think he just gets I think he just gets a bit of a hard time. But I just think he's so good. I love Matt's Doctor. I sometimes when I'm watching him, I sometimes think he's my favourite. You know, when you're going through in your head, you're thinking, who's my favourite Doctor? Okay. Even though you can't, it's the impossible question. It can never be answered. It must never be answered. But there are times when I'm watching Matt and I just really think he's so good that I just and this is so early on as well, he's still not quite 100% his Doctor yet, but I think he's really good in it. He gets some great lines, you know, the thing with the jammy dodger, and when he says, you know, but I was promised tea and all that, you know, he delivers the lines brilliant. I really do like Matt. I can't fault him at all, even though he looks really young in this. God,
he
he
does,
looks about 19 because he's got his floppy hair going on, and oh dear. But no, I like Matt. Yeah, I can't fault him.
No, I'm with you on that one. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Yeah, I think Series 5 is quite remarkable for him, really, because seeing as this is one of the very first episodes and it's his first proper run with the Doctor, he's just on form pretty much every scene. And this story does bring out quite a range in his acting as well, because we have that really quite emotional scene where he's full of anger and stuff when he's bashing the hell out of the Dalek with the giant spanner.
Yeah.
So he's really going for it there, and you can see his reaction when he very first sees the Daleks as well. He's very, he complete and utter like shock. Like, what the hell have you done? You need to,
like a lot of viewers.
Yeah, you need to shut this down quick. And there's also got that very calm, cool, collective Doctor as well when he's negotiating with the Daleks, and he's got the jammy dodge and stuff. So there's a big range of acting ability from him very early on.
Yeah.
So I love Matt in this. I'm a really big fan of him in Series 5. I'm not really a fan of some of the later Matt Smith episodes as we get sort of into middle of Series 6, but he's consistently very good though. As the Doctor.
Even early on, you're right. Even in his first series, he's good. Yeah, I just got visions of us. We were going to be down the pub last week when it didn't happen. You're right. Now we're going to be like after a few pints. I love old Matt. Yeah.
Are you guys talking about Doctor Who? Yeah.
Yeah. Don't go slanging off Matt.
What do you know about him? Oh, nothing. I just interested in Doctor Who. Well, get out of here. Talking about Matt Smith. Bleeding Matt Smith.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
I love him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be us one day. Just completely smashed.
One day soon, yeah.
Trying to cohesively talk about Doctor Who. And that bloody Moffat. Yeah.
That mothball.
The mothball. He can get out of here and all.
God, yeah.
So I would say Victory of the Daleks is very much a tale of two tales. Very much a promising start. Very, very good. But then loses itself under its own weight and just gets written out too conveniently and too much of an anticlimax.
Yeah.
I would say.
And one last thing, why does Churchill say keep buggering on? Because I remember the first time I heard that line, I was like, what? Is that because I didn't know Churchill? Is that like something he said that he's famous for saying? Or what is that about?
I honestly don't know.
It seems a really odd thing to come out with.
I'm going to assume that it's something that a quote that he must have said at some point, because it's an odd thing to put in there. But
yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyways, we're going to move on to scores.
Yes, and it's your turn first this week. Thank goodness.
It is my turn first. Okie dokie. I'm going to say that this is worthy of a
drum roll.
A 4.
A 4?
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, I don't think it's that bad. I'm going with it. No, I'm going with a 6.5. I quite enjoyed it despite all its little issues. In terms of watching it, I thought it was okay. Yeah, I didn't think it was that bad. 6.5 for me.
Okay, I would have given it more if the last 2/3 were as good as the first bit, as the first third. But yeah, it goes downhill quite quickly.
Yeah, it does.
You can't forgive the cheap plastic looking Daleks, I'm afraid.
Yeah, they actually do look like toys, don't they? They really do. I mean, the toy of them looks they were designed to be a toy, basically. Yeah.
Anyways, that's our opinion. What did you guys think? We've got quite a few audio reviews in, so let's kick off with one of those. This is Alex Kingdom.
Hello, Gordon from the Lily Box Podcast. How are you all doing? Now, Victory of the Daleks. But anyway, Victory of the Daleks. This one is bashed quite a lot, and I don't know why. I honestly think it is a good story. I don't think Series 5 is a strong story to begin with, strong series, in my opinion, to begin with. But this one does get left on the bottom because, again, there are so many good stories in it. But again, it's not a bad one. I mean, people bash this story because the Power Ranger Daleks, go Dalek power. But no, for starters, I mean, yes, why did they have a yellow and orange Dalek. What's the point? Again, you cannot deny Matt Smith's acting in this was phenomenal. He was kind of angry at the fact that the Daleks, he felt a bit like, why didn't you remember me? He felt a bit... Winston Churchill to me was phenomenal. He really made this story great because Amy Neese is a great actor. I think he did pretty well in this role. But the elephant in the room. Danny Boy to the Doctor! Danny Boy to the Doctor! Danny Boy to the Doctor can go away. Danny Boy, go back to Earth. I don't like that Spitfire in space point. I just don't like it. And also Mark Gatiss still can't write for Amy at all. So yeah, I'm going to give Victor of the Daleks an 8 out of 10. I think it's great. See you guys next week.
Well.
Cheers, Alex. He's got a good point about Gatiss writing for Amy. He can't write for Amy. I totally agree with that.
No, because I don't think he knows what to do with her. I think he writes a very, well, he has the potential to write a very good story for the Doctor and some of his, larger foes, more classic foes and stuff. But with the companion, especially Amy, I just don't think he knows where to go with it.
No, Gatiss is good with ideas. Get good thinking of ideas, isn't he? But just not, never seems to to do much with them.
A couple of them, he absolutely does. He does, he's done a couple of cracking stories, but bit hit and miss anyways. Let's crack on. Let's continue with the audio stuff. This is Owen Daly.
Hi guys, hope you both are doing very well and enjoying the show this week. So, what did I think of Victory of the Daleks? Well, it is a very, very poor story, and I really want to emphasise that point. Victory of the Daleks is a very poor story. When this originally aired, I have to say I was really excited because it was the first actual live Dalek story I ever saw, because prior to that, I just watched the repeats, and I have to admit, I did love it at the time. I thought it was a great Dalek story, but then again, that was the 8-year-old that loved New Earth at the time. Victor the Daleks is once again a very, very bad story. I really do not like it. It nicely echoes evil of the Daleks at the start, with the Daleks acting all good, but yeah, there's one major difference here. Victory of the Daleks is bad, Evil of the Daleks is good. Just thinking of the Power Ranger Daleks just really makes me get annoyed with what they did to the Daleks, and I'm really, really happy that they didn't continue on with that design and went back to the lovely 2005 onwards design. Like most of the single-parter stories, it could have done with an extra 20 minutes to properly conclude the story, and I would definitely just say it's one of the worst Dalek stories of all time, a definite 4 out of 10. Thank you for listening, and enjoy the rest of the show.
Thank you very much, Owen.
Excellent. Yeah, he's got a good point. It's interesting, isn't it? I wonder what I almost wish they had done more with them and tried to, maybe they could have turned it around somehow. I would have loved to have seen them try to make those Daleks scary. I'm sure they could have done it if they tried hard enough, but they kind of just admitted defeat, didn't they? They kind of got such a backlash, they kind of just shoved them in a cupboard and didn't mention them again. But maybe they should have just grown a pair and said, no, we're gonna do something with these Daleks, but it wasn't to be.
The thing with here's my thing with Daleks, right? You don't need to do that stuff with them to have a good Dalek story or to make them threatening and sinister. You don't need to paint them different colours, and all that. You just need to write a good story around them.
Yeah,
they don't need to be tinkered with and all that stuff. He just doesn't need it. Anyways,
I agree.
Let's jump over to Twitter. Joe Oliver says, to quote the Chuckle Brothers, "Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear." That's all he says. So short and sweet.
Oh, right.
George Garrity says, an underrated gem. Loved the World War II setting with the Dalek technology twist, which weirdly doesn't feel out of place. Designs of both the Ironside and Paradigm Daleks are awesome. Shame the Paradigms are used more since. Matt Smith is great as usual. I love his Dalek confrontation scene. Churchill great, Amy great, Bracewell could be better. That random woman was okay too, but her plot was just a rehash of Curse of Fenric. Loved the Spitfires too. Overall 9 out of 10.
Wow. Yeah, high score. Well, that's good. I'm glad we got a bit, it's good to have somebody's fighting its corner. Even, it's good to have a bit of diversity, because it is one that just very often just completely gets obliterated. He's right. What was going on with that woman character?
Do you know what? It's
because she looks at Amy, gives Amy a funny look, and you're like, oh, why is she looking at Amy like that? And then later on, she just bursts into tears, and we find out. I think maybe she's just there to bring home the sense that people lost their lives at war. I think she's literally just there because, like you said, it kind of gets glossed over. Everyone's very jolly, and we're in the middle of a war, don't you know? And I think she maybe was there to sort of represent the fact people did lose their lives, but it's just done so badly that we kind of don't even pick up on it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think that character, was it Blanche? That
yeah,
character?
I think so.
Yeah. Again, it's just a very quick write-in that isn't explored enough to make sense or to have any emotion. It's quite emotional, and I think you're right. Yeah, it just hammers home that war is never good. People always lose lives and stuff, but there's just not enough in emotional impact because it's too quick.
Yeah,
shoehorned in. Yeah. So that was Twitter. Before we crack on with Facebook, more audio stuff. This is Who Addicts Reviews, Matt Rowney.
Hey there, Gary and Adam. I hope you two are well. Now, Victory of the Daleks really is a tale of two halves. It started off so well. The Doctor and the Daleks confrontation in the beginning was something incredible. When a Doctor first meets the Daleks, it's got to be memorable, and it certainly was. When the Doctor saw the Dalek, it struck fear into his core, and in turn it struck fear into my core. It was the first time, for as long as I can remember, where I was genuinely scared of the Daleks. And it got even better because I ended up being scared of the Doctor when he was smashing the Dalek with a giant spanner because it was being good. It just shows how sick and twisted the dynamic between and the relationship between the Doctor and the Daleks has become over all these years. The fact that the Doctor got angry because they weren't trying to kill him. It was such a clever, unique scene. But then, oh God, what did they smoke halfway through writing? It couldn't have got any worse after that. The Paradigm Daleks. Their design is great, their size, their shape, their voice is intimidating, but their colour scheme, oh God, it's ridiculous. I mean, whoever did that should be fired. It was awful, absolutely awful. I mean, it was almost like they were smoking some funny stuff, like they were tripping out and seeing all the different colours, and they put a different colour on each Dalek. It was just goddamn awful. And then, just when you thought it couldn't get any worse, at the very end, the Daleks, their beam is shot out, and what do? They don't cause havoc, they don't fight back, they don't kill everything in their way, no. They run away, because that's what the most feared creatures in the universe do. They run away. Oh, and also, they believed that a jammy dodger would blow their ship up. They're supposed to be the cleverest beings in the universe. And yet we went from hitting them with a spanner to threatening them with a jammy dodger. God, the second half of this episode was just dreadful. So yeah, Victory of the Daleks couldn't be a tale of two halves. First half, fantastic. Second half got awful. I've got to give it a 4 out of 10. Take care, guys.
Cheers, Matt.
Cheers, Matt. He agrees with you, yeah.
I was going to say.
He makes a good point about the jammy dodger. Although I love the scene, it is silly.
It is silly. And, we kind of echo each other's thoughts on that. Same score as well. Rightio, Facebook. Callum Johnson says, a lot of fans have trouble with the multicoloured Daleks, which I understand, but I have a real soft side for this episode, with the brilliant acting of Matt Smith and the superb casting for Churchill. I'd have to give this one a 7.5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Sammy Satine. So, Prime Minister Winston Churchill is having such trouble with the Nazis that he thinks that an absolute last resort, he should use the Ironside to help him defeat the Nazis. Little does Winston Churchill know that these so-called Ironsides are actually Daleks. Luckily, we have the 11th Doctor set him straight, but why are the Daleks serving tea? And is the supposed inventor of the Ironsides, Professor Bracewell, really human? She goes on to say, I do enjoy watching 11 beat up a Dalek with a spanner. Also, you have to love Ian McNeice as Winston Churchill. Yes, we do. I like the use of the jammy dodger as a self-destruct button. I think it's an interesting idea, having a progenitor machine. That's the thing that creates the Paradigm Daleks, isn't it?
Oh, right, okay.
It's like the little mini Dalek shape thing with the disco lights on it.
That, yeah. I want to get one of them.
I do feel, however, that it was impossible to save the Earth and destroy the Daleks. After all, the Doctor was not that much help defusing Bracewell. It was Amy that did that. On the new Daleks, I can see why people have a problem with their design. I think it may have been better if they had all been one colour and the Supreme Dalek was a different colour. Maybe. Yep.
Yeah.
She says, but overall not that bad, 7.5.
Okay, yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah. Ben Smith says, a mixed bag. Matt gives a good performance and the casting of Churchill is great. Had some interesting concepts, but never lives up to them. I love the jammy dodger scene, but the Daleks do look horrendous and don't do anything scary. 5 out of 10.
Agree.
Let's do more audio. Jay Kent.
Go, go, power Daleks! Mighty Morphin Power Daleks! Hey, Gary and Adam, hope you're doing well. Now, Victory of the Daleks. An unusual episode for me. It has all the yes factors there, but it still fails triumphantly. Ian McNeice as Churchill, yes. The chemistry between the Doctor and Churchill, yes. The appearance of World War II London, yes. The art style of the Dalek victory poster, yes. The Daleks pretending to be servants, but it's actually a devious plan and they're in control all the time, yes. I am the Doctor, and you are the Daleks, yes! The design of the Ironside, The Daleks falling for the Jammy Dodger trick, no. The Dalek programming a droid with emotions, no. Spitfires in space, no. And the Paradigm Daleks themselves, their design would be fine if they were all right, but no. They were the Rainbow Daleks from Jelly Baby Lane. If they were all white, they'd be all right. But this is an episode that I probably would go back and watch again, but I'd probably stop after a certain time to spare myself the pain. But yeah, but from that reason, I'm going to give this episode a 5 out of 10 for being brilliant and monumentally bad at the same time. That takes a special kind of episode. No, but I hope you guys are doing well, and I will see you next week.
Cheers, Jay.
Cheers, Jay.
Yes, another point there about the colour of the Daleks. They should have done some user research before this.
Yeah. Well, like you said, just not touch them.
Yeah, just not touch them, yeah. Back on Facebook, Callum MacArthur says, it's awful, 1 out of 10.
Oh, dear. That's the lowest score yet. Okay.
Danny Brown says, good idea from Gattis, but again, like the Idiot's Lantern, the story never gets going. The setup was good, but the second we saw those terrible new Daleks, the story went from average to stupid. The cast, although adds some respectability to the story, for me, it's overall poor, 6.5. Have a good show.
Same score as me, yeah.
Yeah. Lewis Palmer says, this one doesn't seem to go down well in the fandom. I don't mind it. Yes, even the Dalek designs. They're big and threatening, and I like the colour coding. It's a shame that the BBC decided to do away with them, because I remember they were building up a mystery in the promotion over what the Yellow Eternal Dalek was and what his story was, but that never came to fruition.
Oh, yeah.
The story itself is quite enjoyable. I love the wartime setting, and the Spitfires in space is a really cool idea. Ian McNeice is great, and he was really nice when I met him. Overall, an enjoyable story, 7 out of 10.
Ah, okay, that's good.
George Coppen, quite a good episode. Loved the supporting cast, and I do rather like these Daleks, with my favourite being the blue and orange one, 7 out of 10.
Nice.
Joe Oliver. Okay, this whole episode is a big mess. From space Spitfires to the god-awful Power Ranger Daleks, and the ending that was so cliche. But wait, there's a bomb. This episode just constantly reveals how goddamn awful it is. Oh dear, not even a score.
No.
He hates it that much, didn't even warrant a score.
Yeah, it's
lastly on Facebook, Joseph Howarth. Now, he wrote an absolutely huge comment, so I haven't got time to read it all out. He basically, I'm going to try and put this in a nutshell. Anyway, so he says, Victory of the Daleks, I honestly think it was a good episode until the reveal of the Ironsides were in fact Daleks, and it just got rushed and just went downhill in the second half of the episode. He then goes on to say that he thinks that the new Paradigm Daleks are basically Power Ranger Daleks and so on. He did like the tension leading up to the Daleks. He liked how the Doctor's voice is distorted when we are looking through the Dalek's eye stalk.
Oh, yeah, that was good.
Which is a nice effect. Bracewell probably had all the best bits of the entire episode. As a sympathetic character, of course, and revealed to be a robot. He says that it still has good moments in the bit where the Doctor is threatening the Daleks with the Jammy Dodger. It's a very Doctorish sort of thing to do. It's not a laugh out loud moment, but it's worth a chuckle. Nice little touch. As much as he likes Amy, he finds her quite irritating as a companion with not much to do other than provide Bracewell with emotional support. It's good to begin with, but then deteriorates after the reveal. And I'd go back to, but certainly not a bad episode either. So he gives it a 6 out of 10.
Okay, that's fair.
I'd love to read out your full comment, Joseph, but it's just so huge. I mean, I really appreciate you typing it all out. So if you guys want to read more into his thoughts on this episode, just head over to the Facebook page. Let's finish up with an audio review. This is Joe Sweeney.
Hello, Gary and Adam. Hope you guys are well. Right, my review of Victory of the Daleks. Oh dear, 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 dear. What can I say about this episode? Well, for starters, I'll say that this episode is a complete mess. I do like the fact it is set in World War II, but the scene with the Doctor hitting a Dalek with a crowbar, I think that was way too over the top, and with the Doctor being that overly aggressive, what the fudge have they gone and got rid of Russell T Davies's Daleks and replaced them with the coloured designed ones? They look so awful. I don't know why Stephen Moffat had to go and do this. It's just beyond me. And also with these Spitfires flying into space, that's really terrible. It's like watching a Star Wars movie. One thing I can think of something good about this episode, it's when the Doctor got on board the spaceship and threatened the Daleks with the Dammy Dodger. I thought that was really, really cool. Overall, not a brilliant episode, and it's quite a letdown. So I'll give a score of 4 out of 10. Hope you enjoy the podcast, guys. Speak to you soon. Take care. Farewell.
Cheers, Joe.
Thanks a lot, Joe. I think there's
yeah.
an overriding theme from everyone's reviews in this one. What do you reckon? That the first half was pretty good, but it just goes downhill after that, and no one's a fan of the multicoloured Daleks.
I think, I was just going to say, I think Joe's hit the nail on the head there. It's a disappointment, isn't it?
Yes.
It starts well and then just ends up being a disappointment. Yeah.
Unfortunately. So I think our scores are fairly justified. I can understand why people would have issues with it, because it does mess with certain important aspects of the whole Dalek lore and all that stuff. It tries to do well. It really tries hard, to get that big Dalek entrance and something new and stuff. But then it's just like, it's like Christmas morning, rattling a box and you think, I know exactly what this is. You open it up and it's like, oh, it's not what I wanted.
Yeah, but I'm going to smile anyway as if it is. Yeah.
It's pretty much that in a nutshell.
Yeah. Damn you, Moffat, and your tinkering finger.
Damn you. His fingers, that's his problem again. We've said this before. He's got his fingers in too many pies. Just back off and let people do their job.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, guys, for sending in your audio clips and telling us your comments on Twitter and Facebook. Very, very cool. Next week, we're going back in time. I can't wait for next week. What are we doing then, buddy?
First Doctor story, the Aztecs, we will be doing next week, and then following week, Big Finish. So, looking forward to those.
I can't wait to do another Hartnell story.
Oh, I love Hartnell.
I've missed him.
Yeah, Aztecs.
Missed him. When's the last time we did Hartnell? The War Machines, back in Feb.
Oh, yeah. That's one of my fave Hartnells, that. Sure. War Machines. So, see if the Aztecs lives up to it.
Indeedy. And I think we will do there, buddy.
Okay.
So that is episode 92, done and done.
In the can.
In the can. Thank you again for joining with us. It's been quite a long show, nearly a couple of hours this one. So if you are still listening, thank you so, so much. Or if you've skipped right to this point, go back and listen to the whole thing, you lazy bugger.
Skip to the end.
Skip to the end, yeah. So next week, look out for the Facebook post so that you can comment on next week's review episode, which will be William Hartnell's The Aztecs. So very much looking forward to seeing your views and opinions on that. If you want to send us an audio clip, feel free to do so, or a video clip, whatever you like. Just please try and keep it to around about a minute long. That would be good. And you can send it to hello@thebigblueboxpodcast.co.uk, or just give us your thoughts on Twitter and Facebook, whatever you like. Sign up to the newsletter, which is now rocking and rolling. So go to bigblueboxpodcast.co.uk/subscribe. Get your email address in there, and your inbox will be a nicer place for it. Also on the website, you can check out all the previous episodes, and you can link off to Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, and you can also subscribe to the show. There's links there to iTunes and Stitcher and some other bits, so that you never miss an episode.
That's what you want.
That's what you
Never
want.
miss one.
Yes. Also, check out Adam's channel, The Geek's Handbag, over on YouTube and Facebook. Some very, very cool videos. What's the next one? Have you got anything in the pipeline, or are you just too busy?
No, nothing.
Nothing. It's always busy.
No, I was gonna do a review of the new Sonic, but to be honest with you, there's a couple of good ones out there already, from sort of same sort of group of people that I sort of watch. So there's no point. There's lots of good reviews of it. But no, to be honest, mate, the new job's taken over. But I'll be getting some videos together soon. But there's loads of great stuff already on there to go and check out in the meantime.
We're going to see those bloody Titan A Good Man series stuff on. I know you're going to get them.
Yeah, I will. I will get. I definitely will get some of them. Yeah, I will. Yeah, just to be honest with you, just so I can unbox them and show people how bad they are. People love a video when you're disappointed, you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it makes for a more interesting video when you're moaning about something. Yeah. So yeah, I probably will do some of them at some point. Yeah.
If you haven't checked out Adam's last video, which is the review of the complete soundtrack in the really nice limited edition TARDIS box set, go and watch that. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And I can't watch it again because I'm too angry, but there we go. It's a great video.
Yeah.
So until next week for episode 93, my name's Gary.
My name's Adam.
And remember,
Lottie.